Hey, hello everybody, this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you another Bronze to Masters League Series game. Today we're going to be looking at a ZvZ here on King Sejong Station, and my gosh, it has been one crazy week. Over the weekend we got to cast the ISM tournament for bronze or diamond and masters players. Holy cow. So a lot of videos from that went up on the YouTube channel on Tuesday, or I think it was Wednesday actually, now that I think about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. If you haven't already checked them out, feel free to check those out. They'll be in a playlist I'll put in the description. But yeah, been very busy with things rolling into summer. Things are looking pretty crazy as we get out of school season and just kind of getting things up into shape. Now, I do have some cool things coming your guys' way. I'm going to be changing up the format a lot of my Bronze to Masters League series videos. I've come to the realization that personally, I kind of feel like the videos have gone a little stale, and I wanna change things up a bit. So I will be releasing more Bronze to Masters League series, but I will be kind of switching up the way I run them as far as format. Some I'll do a physical cast with me actually playing the game. Some that I'll do physical commentary where I walk through a game, a build order per se, and just kind of give you the highlights of a build and some of the pitfalls and things like that. And then some are going to be more focused on me walking through how I improve and what I look for when I do go through a replay and say, okay, here are the things that I did good, here are the things that I did bad, here are the kind of couple key things that I want to work on in the future. So gonna be switching up a little bit. This video in particular is going to be of the format we're going to look at things that we can improve on as far as timings, what are things that we struggled with in this game, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a ZvZ on King Sejong Station, as mentioned before, and it's kind of an interesting one. We don't really have a whole lot go for us in the early game. It's actually a really passive game up front, but it turns into kind of a crazy macro game. So we'll probably be speeding it up as we get kind of to the midway of this game, but very back and forth and whatnot. So anyways, we are going to go for, since it's a two-player map, always go for that spawning pool first, easy peasy, and then go into our 15 hatchery and then followed up by a 16 gas. I like to get this gas early, not necessarily for the Zergling speed, but for earlier roaches. As we can see, he's already working on speed himself, and we're just feeling pretty good on how things are going. So now we did send out our overlord to do a little bit of scouting. We came in, we poked in to check on the spawning pool, and we noticed that the spawning pool was doing its fun little dance, so we know that he is going to be going for relatively early speedlings. And then behind this, we're just going to go ahead and leave the overlord kind of perched outside of his base, checking for these lings to be coming across the field as we see. And then going to happily go ahead and start to build a kind of small little wall off. We're going to start with our Roach Warren, and then we'll get our Evo chambers up to get into upgrades and things like that. So as far as things that we've seen so far, we noticed early game we had a little bit of a mishaps where I had to go ahead and cancel a drone to get out the queen in time. I find that my biggest struggle is the overlord production in the early game, just when to build that. I think it's the third overlord, and getting that queen out as efficiently as possible. So that's one thing that I want to note for this game. Now, lings do get in. He doesn't really get a whole lot of damage done. I mean, looking at the units last tab, nothing killed except for his lings. So looking pretty good there. Want to make sure that we take care of these lings as efficiently as possible. He's going to try and come here and just more or less sacrifice. We're just going to get a handful of defensive lings. We don't know whether or not it's going to be all in or anything. I mean, this overlord's still scouting. Things are looking good. So far, I believe inject-wise, we've been doing pretty good so far. You can see I'm pretty on top of it as far as things popping off. We are going to go ahead and get our second gas because we want to make sure that we have ample production for upgrades once we get our lair. Now, if I do recall, this game I did have a little bit of a problem. My lair was significantly late. Normally, the lair actually would have the Evo chamber would have gone down a lot earlier, would have gone down probably about the same time the Roach Warren was. I was really worried about those links getting in, so I kind of didn't react accordingly. A little bit of time here as far as inject, but still pretty good. And things are looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up a little bit now. We do get an idea as far as from a scouting perspective. We come in here, we see, okay, he's got a couple Evo chambers, and then we also see that he's building a spine crawler. So he's a little bit worried from a defensive perspective, so we are happily just continuing on getting our drones up and things like that. Units-wise, we're doing really good. We've got a lot of drones out on the field already. We're already at 50 or 46 in comparison to his 20 or so. So we're feeling really, really good about how we droned this game. I know in the past ZvZs, that's been something that I struggle with, where I don't build enough drones early enough, and basically I just lose out to economy. So going to go ahead and take our third base since things are looking pretty good. We got double upgrades going as well as roach production. Basically at this point we're just building units as a function of we have no idea where he is as far as units go. So don't really scout anything here. Keeping tabs on this third base now that we're in the process of taking our own third. Gonna come in here, a little bit of a kind of small skirmish. Basically, even though he has an upgrade advantage, you know, just the +1 carapace, the Lings actually acted enough as a buffer that we were able to get enough damage done and really get things going. So everything's looking really good. Basically, production-wise, we're just going to continue on getting things going. See, lair is still not done. Way super late. So that was definitely a big problem. Lair tends to go down around the 7:30 to 8-minute mark. That's kind of what you should aim for. You know, that just ensures that you're not going to fall behind in tech, and you're going to be able to get up the appropriate production that you need. So third base, we're going to go ahead and get things looking pretty good already with that. And then we do scout him just now taking his third. So we're really feeling really good at this point. He's going to come in here and try to engage. Now, let's take a look at the supply difference. Now, the biggest reason the supply difference is like so significantly in our favor is a couple things. Units-wise, we can see that we've got, you know, like, what is that, 17 drones, 18 drones? Yeah, 18 drones. We have 18 more drones than he does. Those extra drones that we've had kind of above him the entire game really has given us the edge to make these extra units, get our third base a lot quicker, and really give us the position that we want as far as our economy and production. So he's going to go ahead and fall back from this. He sees that he's got way less units than I do. Upgrades-wise, we're now even on upgrades, so still feeling pretty good with that. And now that we've got full base saturation on 3 bases, we're really happy to just continue. Like, we're going ham on overlords, 4 overlords on the way, and that will also be led into a Hydralisk Den, because obviously we want to start to get those higher DPS units out. So we are still behind as far as upgrades are concerned, mainly because of the lair timing. Basically, once the lair is done, you want to make sure your Roach Warren is starting to get your Roach speed, and trying to basically just make sure that our opponent isn't going to get in here and like get significant damage. So we see him coming down, going to send our Roaches to deal with this. Now, honestly, this is kind of a tough move for him, because he's basically sacrificing his entire army there, unless he like comes in here and scoots around. I mean, obviously he's got speed over mine, so he does have that small advantage, but if he gets trapped in here, he's kind of screwed. So we're going to come in here, try and kind of head him off at the pass, get a nice surround. He does get a handful of units out. Okay, maybe more than I anticipated, but we're still feeling pretty good because we were able to defend that off. Pretty minimal losses, only 2 drones or so here. Yeah, 2 drones. Wow, I called that. So yeah, so basically at this point, we're just going to go super heavy macro mode. I probably should have gotten a macro hatch down a lot earlier. I probably should have gotten that down at around the 12-minute mark. Seems like it would have been appropriate. We can see that we're pretty high on minerals and gas. And yeah, at this point we're just happily getting units out and doing what we need to do. Now we're going to send a handful of units. I like this map just because I like taking down these back rocks and giving me options as far as like doing small little counterattacks and things like that. So going to go ahead and send a handful of units now. He does have vision. Oop, there we go. He does have vision of me attacking this, and this is actually a really interesting thing. So he sends his entire army over to deal with this, which I find kind of fascinating. A little bit of a mistake on his part. But by luring out his entire army, he gets kind of back into this kind of crevice. Obviously, he could run around here, but he's got some destructible rocks he's got to deal with, and really just can't get out of there. So, happily getting things going. And he's going to end up taking out an overlord and these handful of units, but we're like, well, we're going to go ahead and take our 4th base, and this actually puts us into a really good position because we're able to kind of head him off at the pass and defend our 4th at the same time. So we're going to come in here, get a nice little, lots of free units, real easy. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're almost doubled his supply. We've got our infestation pit on the way, our spires on the way. Basically, from here, we're just going to go straight into Hive if we cannot take him out here. But we're feeling pretty good as we take out lots and lots of his units. And yeah, we just, basically overall, we just power macroed through this game. Very straightforward and well thought out. Basically, as long as we have overlords out on the field scouting, kind of getting an idea of when he's going to be attacking, we can kind of anticipate every single move that he's going to make. And basically from there, just kind of poke around here and there to adjust accordingly. So GG gets called, and that is going to be the end of this video. So main takeaways from this video: I need to definitely work on my overlord production in the early game, as well as my lair timings. Those seem to be kind of the 2 key takeaways as far as from this game. So yeah, I'd be really interested to know how you guys deal, like when you miss those upgrades or miss the timings that you shoot for. How do you guys tend to adjust with that? Do you overcompensate with units? Do you over-drone? Do you build lots of buildings and cancel them? I'd be really curious to know how you guys deal with those. Feel free to leave your comments down in the comment section below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm planning on switching up a lot of the content as far as the format, so it will hopefully be a lot more streamlined and really just give you guys better perspective on how you guys can tweak your own game on the ladder. Because, I mean, when it all boils down to it, we're all trying to get to Masters League, all trying to, improve our game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe and like if you so desire. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next game.